good evening. Tonight, you'll discover how Christmas began, how traditions were born across centuries, and how a simple winter celebration became the most beloved holiday in the world. 100 facts about Christmas that will guide you into the most peaceful sleep. But first, if you want more journeys like this, subscribe to the channel and leave a like right now, because in just a few minutes, you'll be too relaxed to move. Now then, make yourself comfortable. Let your body sink into your bed. Close your eyes. Tonight, I invite you on a journey through 2,000 years of tradition, through snow-covered villages and candlelit churches, through the stories that shaped our celebrations. 100 remarkable facts, told slowly, gently, without haste. You don't need to remember them. You don't need to analyze them. Just listen, and let these words become part of your dreams. Breathe evenly, deeply, and we begin. Christmas, as we know it today, is celebrated on December 25th, but this date wasn't always associated with the birth of Christ. In fact, the Bible never mentions the exact date of Jesus' birth. The early Christians didn't celebrate birthdays at all. They considered it a pagan custom. For the first 3 centuries after Christ, no one marked December 25th as special. So why this date? That's a story that unfolds slowly, like snow falling on a winter night, long before Christmas. December was already a time of celebration. The Romans held a festival called Saturnalia. It began on December 17th and lasted for days, a time of feasting, gift-giving, candles, joy. During Saturnalia, social norms were turned upside down. Masters served their slaves. People wore colorful clothes instead of togas. Gambling was allowed in public. The whole city transformed into a carnival of merriment. Sound familiar? The ancient Romans also celebrated Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, the birthday of the unconquered sun, celebrated on December 25th, marking the winter solstice, when the days finally began to grow longer again. Light returning to the world, hope reborn in darkness, a powerful symbol that would echo through time. Interestingly, early Christians saw a parallel. Christ as the light of the world, born at the darkest time of year. The first recorded date of Christmas being celebrated on December 25th was in Rome in the year 336 AD. This was during the reign of Emperor Constantine, the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity. He merged the Christian celebration with existing winter festivals, a strategic choice. It made conversion easier. Old traditions transformed into new meanings. The pagan festival of light became the Christian celebration of Christ, the light of the world. The word Christmas comes from the Old English Christes Messe, Christ Mass, a religious service held to commemorate the birth of Jesus. In Middle English, it was sometimes written as Christamas. Over centuries, the pronunciation shifted, smoothed, until it became the word we know today, such a simple word, carrying centuries of tradition. In the early centuries, Christmas was a relatively minor Christian holiday. Easter was far more important. The resurrection held more theological significance than the birth. It wasn't until the Middle Ages that Christmas began to grow in importance, slowly, gradually, becoming the grand celebration we know today, like a small flame that grows into a warm fire. The 12 days of Christmas aren't the days leading up to December 25th. They begin on Christmas Day and end on January 5th, the eve of Epiphany. when, according to tradition, the three wise men arrived to see the infant Jesus. Each day had its own significance, its own traditions, an extended celebration, stretching from Christmas to the New Year, 12 days of feasting and joy. In medieval England, Christmas was a season, not just a day. The festivities began on Christmas Eve and continued until Candlemas on February 2nd, more than a month of celebration. During this time, work largely ceased. Lords opened their halls to all. Rich and poor celebrated together. Hierarchies temporarily dissolved. A magical season when the world felt different. The Lord of Misrule was a peculiar medieval tradition. A person was chosen, often from the lower classes, to preside over Christmas festivities. They had authority to demand that nobles participate in games, songs, theatrical performances. For those brief days, the world was turned upside down. The servant became the master. Laughter echoed through stone halls, a remnant of ancient Saturnalia. Medieval Christmas feasts were extraordinary affairs, tables laden with roasted meats, boar's head, a symbol of prosperity, swans, peacocks, venison, pies filled with everything imaginable. The boar's head was often presented in a ceremonial procession, carried on a golden platter, decorated with herbs, while singers chanted ancient songs. If you're still listening, imagine the warmth of a medieval hall, the firelight, the music. Mummers' plays were popular Christmas entertainment in medieval times. Travelling performers would go from house to house, wearing masks and costumes, acting out simple plays about St. George or King Arthur or Robin Hood. The plays always ended the same way: death and resurrection, an ancient theme, darkness and light returning. The audiences would reward the performers with food, coins, a cup of hot ale. Wassailing is an old English tradition that dates back to medieval times. The word comes from the Old Norse ves heil, meaning be healthy. People would go door to door, singing, carrying a bowl of spiced ale. They'd offer a drink to their neighbours, wishing them good health. In return, they'd receive food or money. In orchards, people would wassail the apple trees, pouring cider on the roots, singing to ensure a good harvest in the coming year, a blessing shared through song. The first recorded use of Xmas dates back to the 1500s. Many people think it's a modern secular abbreviation, but it's not. The X comes from the Greek letter chi, the first letter of Christ in Greek, so Xmas is actually an ancient, respectful abbreviation, not a removal of Christ from Christmas, but a symbol representing him. History often surprises us. During the Middle Ages, Christmas carols were quite different from what we know today. They weren't necessarily religious. Many were drinking songs, work songs, dance songs adapted for the season. Carol originally meant a circle dance accompanied by singing. People would hold hands, move in circles, and sing together. Music and movement and community. The Yule log is a tradition with pagan roots that merged into Christmas celebrations. In Norse tradition, a large log would be selected, blessed, and set to burn in the hearth. Throughout the 12 days of Christmas, the log had to be lit with a piece saved from the previous year's log. The ashes were kept as charms, protection against evil, lightning. As the log burned slowly, families would gather, tell stories, watch the flames dance, warmth in the coldest season. The nativity scene as we know it, was popularized by St. Francis of Assisi in 1223 in the Italian village of Greccio. Francis created the first living nativity. He used real people, real animals, a manger filled with hay. He wanted people to understand, to feel the humility of Christ's birth, not as an abstract idea, but as a tangible reality. The people were moved. The tradition spread across Europe. The Bible actually mentions two different nativity stories. The Gospel of Matthew tells of the wise men following a star, King Herod's rage, the flight into Egypt. The Gospel of Luke describes the census, the journey to Bethlehem, the shepherds, the angels singing. Mark and John don't mention the nativity at all. They begin their Gospels with Jesus as an adult. Two accounts woven together in our imagination. The Bible never specifies how many wise men visited Jesus. Tradition says 3, because 3 gifts are mentioned: gold, frankincense, myrrh. But the Bible simply says magi from the east. There could have been 2 or 4 or a dozen. The number lost to history. What matters is what they represented: recognition from distant lands, wisdom, acknowledging divinity. The wise men probably weren't kings at all. The word magi suggests they were Zoroastrian priests from Persia, astronomers, scholars who studied the stars. They would have been educated men, possibly wealthy, but not royalty. The idea of 3 kings came much later, added by medieval storytellers who gave them names: Caspar, Melchior, and Balthazar. Stories grow over time. The Star of Bethlehem has fascinated astronomers for centuries. Some suggest it was a conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. In 7 BC, these planets appeared extremely close together, creating a brilliant light in the sky. Others propose a comet or a supernova or something supernatural, beyond astronomical explanation. Perhaps it was simply the light of faith, guiding those who sought Jesus. Was almost certainly not born in winter. The Gospel of Luke mentions shepherds watching their flocks at night. In Judea, shepherds brought their flocks in from the fields during winter. Most scholars believe Jesus was likely born in spring or early autumn, when shepherds would have been outdoors with their animals. But December 25th became the celebration. And sometimes, symbolism matters more than precision. Interesting, isn't it? The inn where Mary and Joseph sought shelter probably wasn't an inn at all. The Greek word used in Luke, kataluma, means guest room. It's the same word used for the upper room where Jesus celebrated the Last Supper. More likely, Mary and Joseph stayed with relatives, and when the regular guest room was full, they were given space where animals were kept. A small detail, but it changes the story. They weren't rejected by strangers. They were with family. Bethlehem means house of bread in Hebrew, appropriate for the birthplace of one who would call himself the bread of life. The town was small, perhaps a few hundred people, built on a hillside, surrounded by fields where shepherds tended their flocks. A quiet place, unremarkable, until one night when everything changed. The Christmas story contains themes of displacement and refuge. Mary and Joseph, traveling far from home because of a census, unable to find comfortable shelter, giving birth in humble circumstances, then fleeing to Egypt to escape persecution, becoming refugees in a foreign land. A story that resonates across millennia, of families seeking safety, of hope in difficult circumstances. If you're still awake, know that these stories connect us all. Santa Claus is based on a real person, Saint Nicholas of Myra. He lived in the 4th century in what is now Turkey. He was a bishop, known for his generosity, his secret gift-giving. One famous story tells how he saved 3 sisters from poverty by secretly dropping bags of gold down their chimney. The gold supposedly landed in stockings hung by the fire to dry, a kind act that echoed through centuries. St. Nicholas became the patron saint of children. Stories of his miracles spread throughout Europe. Parents told their children that if they were good, St. Nicholas would bring gifts on his feast day, December 6th. In different countries, he took different forms. Sinterklaas in the Netherlands, Father Christmas in England, Père Noël in France, all variations of the same generous spirit. The Dutch settlers brought Sinterklaas to America, in New Amsterdam, later called New York. They celebrated his feast day with traditional customs, gift-giving, sweets, celebrations. The name Sinterklaas was gradually anglicized. Sint Nicolaas, Santa Claus, Santa Claus, a name transformed by new tongues. The modern image of Santa Claus was shaped by a poem in 1823. A Visit from St. Nicholas was published. You probably know it as "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," written by Clement Clark Moore for his children. It described Santa as a jolly, plump elf, dressed in fur, arriving in a sleigh pulled by 8 reindeer. This poem created the Santa we recognize today. The 8 reindeer were named in that same poem. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, Rudolph came much later, in 1939, created by Robert L. May for a Montgomery Ward marketing campaign. The red-nosed reindeer was originally an advertising character, but he captured hearts and became part of the tradition. Santa's red suit wasn't always standard. Before the 20th century, Santa was depicted in various colors: green, blue, brown, even purple. Some credit the Coca-Cola company with standardizing the red suit. In the 1930s, their Christmas advertising featured Santa in red and white, their brand colors, but images of Santa in red existed before Coca-Cola. They simply popularized what was already emerging. The North Pole, as Santa's home, is a relatively recent addition. Early stories placed him in various locations: Spain, Lapland, the clouds. The North Pole became his official residence in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a place of magic, distant, unreachable, perfect for mystery, where elves work year-round, building toys in workshops of imagination. Gift-giving at Christmas has multiple origins: the Magi bringing gifts to Jesus, St. Nicholas's secret generosity, the Roman tradition of Saturnalia gift exchanges. In Victorian England, gift-giving became more elaborate, more commercial. The Industrial Revolution made toys more affordable, more available. Slowly, presents became central to the celebration, not replacing the religious meaning, but adding layers of joy. Christmas stockings have a legend behind them. St. Nicholas dropping gold coins down a chimney, the coins landing in stockings hung to dry. Over time, this became a tradition. Children would hang stockings, wake to find them filled with treats, small gifts, oranges, nuts. A reminder that generosity can appear when we least expect it. If you're still listening, your eyelids are probably getting heavy. That's good. Just keep listening. Letters to Santa became a tradition in the late 1800s. Children would write their wishes, their hopes, their promises to be good. They'd send these letters up the chimney or mail them to the North Pole. Post offices around the world receive millions of these letters each year. Many have special programs to respond. Volunteers playing Santa, keeping the magic alive. NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, tracks Santa's flight every Christmas Eve. This tradition began by accident. In 1955, a department store advertisement misprinted Santa's phone number. It accidentally listed the NORAD hotline. When children called, the officer on duty played along, started giving them updates on Santa's location. Now, it's an annual tradition. Technology serving wonder. In many European countries, children don't receive gifts from Santa alone. In Germany, the Christkind, an angel-like figure, brings presents. In Italy, it's La Befana, a kind witch. In Iceland, 13 Yule lads visit, one each night before Christmas. Each culture has shaped the tradition differently, but the spirit remains the same: generosity, magic, joy. Evergreen trees have been symbols of life and rebirth for thousands of years. Ancient peoples would bring evergreen boughs into their homes during winter, a reminder that life continues, that spring will return. Romans decorated with evergreens during Saturnalia. Druids saw them as sacred. Norse people believed evergreens were the special plant of their sun god. Green, enduring through winter's death. The Christmas tree, as we know it, likely originated in Germany. In the 16th century, devout Christians began bringing decorated trees into their homes. Some stories credit Martin Luther with adding candles to a tree. Legend says he was walking through a forest one night, saw starlight shining through pine branches, wanted to recreate that beauty for his family. Whether true or not, it's a lovely image. Christmas trees remained largely a German tradition until the 19th century, when Queen Victoria married Prince Albert, a German prince. In 1840, he brought the tradition to England. In 1848, a drawing appeared in the Illustrated London News. It showed the royal family gathered around a decorated Christmas tree. The public, eager to emulate their queen, embraced the tradition. It spread across the British Empire and to America. Royalty, setting trends for centuries. The first Christmas tree in America is disputed. Some say German settlers in Pennsylvania had Christmas trees as early as the 1830s. Others credit a German immigrant in Ohio in the 1840s. What's certain is that the tradition took time to spread. Many Americans saw it as a pagan custom, unnecessary, frivolous. But by the 1890s, Christmas trees had become firmly established, an American tradition with German roots. The tradition of the Christmas tree was once banned in America. The Puritans of New England forbade Christmas celebrations entirely. They saw them as un-Christian, too similar to pagan festivals. From 1659 to 1681, celebrating Christmas in Boston was actually illegal. Anyone caught celebrating could be fined. Imagine a world without Christmas. It seems impossible now. The largest living Christmas tree stands in a town called Gubbio in Italy. It's not actually a decorated tree. It's hundreds of lights arranged on the slopes of Mount Ingino, forming the shape of a Christmas tree over 2,000 feet tall. Visible for miles, a beacon in the winter darkness, creating light where there was only mountain. Tinsel was originally made from real silver. In Germany, around the 1600s, craftsmen developed a process to create thin strips of silver. They draped these shimmering strands on their Christmas trees, silver reflecting candlelight, creating a magical effect like icicles frozen in time. Later, silver became too expensive. Tinsel was made from aluminum, then plastic, but the tradition continued. The first electric Christmas tree lights appeared in 1882. Edward Johnson, a colleague of Thomas Edison, hand-wired 80 red, white, and blue bulbs. He strung them on a tree in his New York City home. Before this, people used candles, beautiful but dangerous. House fires were common. Electric lights made the tradition safer, brighter, more accessible to all. The Christmas tree in Rockefeller Center is a New York City tradition that began in 1933. During the Great Depression, construction workers at Rockefeller Center pooled their money. They bought a small tree, decorated it with handmade ornaments, a symbol of hope during hard times. Now, the tree lighting is watched by millions. A massive Norway spruce, covered in thousands of lights, topped with a Swarovski crystal star, a tradition born from worker solidarity. If you're still awake, that's all right. These stories are here for you. The angel or star on top of the Christmas tree represents the Star of Bethlehem, or the angels who announced Christ's birth to the shepherds, a reminder of why we celebrate. In some cultures, people place other figures on top. In Germany, sometimes a pickle ornament is hidden in the tree. The child who finds it receives an extra gift. Every family adds their own touches. Artificial Christmas trees were first developed in Germany in the 1800s. They were made from dyed goose feathers, attached to wire branches, an attempt to prevent deforestation. Modern artificial trees are made from PVC plastic. Some are remarkably realistic. Others embrace their artificiality, coming in white, pink, even black. But many still prefer the scent of real pine, the imperfect branches, the shedding needles, the realness of something alive. The tradition of decorating Christmas trees varies around the world. In Ukraine, people decorate with spider webs, a folk tale about a poor family whose tree was decorated by spiders. In Japan, Christmas trees might be decorated with origami cranes, paper fans, symbols of their own culture, blended with Western tradition. Each country makes Christmas their own. Christmas dinner traditions vary enormously by culture. In America, many serve turkey. In England, goose or beef. In Poland, 12 dishes representing the 12 apostles. In Japan, surprisingly, KFC has become traditional. Food connecting us to heritage, to family, to memory. The tradition of Christmas ham has ancient roots. Boar was central to Yule celebrations. The Norse would sacrifice a boar to the god Freyr, then feast on it. As Christianity spread, the tradition continued, but with domestic pigs instead of wild boar. Even the method of preparation echoes across centuries. Glazed with honey, studded with cloves, roasted slowly, filling the house with aroma. Gingerbread has been associated with Christmas for centuries. In medieval England, gingerbread was expensive, a luxury. Spices came from far away, from the east, costly and rare. Gingerbread houses were inspired by the German fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel. Families would bake elaborate structures, decorate them with icing, candies, creating edible art. The scent of ginger, warming a winter kitchen. Candy canes might have originated in Germany around 1670. A choir master at Cologne Cathedral wanted to keep children quiet during long Christmas services. He asked the candy maker to create sweet sticks. He requested they be bent to represent a shepherd's crook, a reminder of the shepherds who visited baby Jesus. Later, someone added red stripes. Some say they represent Christ's blood. Others say they're just festive. Eggnog is a descendant of a medieval British drink called posset. Posset was made with hot milk, curdled with ale or wine, sweetened with sugar, spiced with nutmeg. Wealthy colonists in America had access to milk, eggs, and rum. They created their own version, richer, creamier, stronger. Now, it's synonymous with Christmas, thick, sweet, dusted with nutmeg. Some people love it, others can't stand it. Imagine that creamy texture, the warm spice. Christmas pudding in England is made weeks in advance, traditionally prepared on Stir-Up Sunday, the last Sunday before Advent. Each family member takes a turn stirring the mixture, making a wish, stirring from east to west, to honor the wise men. The pudding is studded with fruit, soaked in alcohol, aged. On Christmas Day, it's flamed with brandy, brought to the table blazing, a dramatic finale to a festive meal. Mince pies were originally made with actual meat. Medieval recipes included mutton or beef mixed with fruits and spices, a savory sweet combination that seems strange to modern tastes. Over time, the meat disappeared. Now they're filled with mincemeat, which contains no meat at all, just dried fruits, spices, sometimes brandy. But the name remains a fossil of culinary history. Yule log cake, or bûche de Noël, is a French tradition. It's designed to look like a log, covered in chocolate frosting textured to resemble bark, decorated with meringue mushrooms, powdered sugar snow. It represents the Yule log that would burn in the hearth, but in edible form. Cutting into it reveals layers, sponge cake rolled with cream, a spiral like tree rings. Stollen is a German Christmas bread shaped like a loaf, dusted with powdered sugar, filled with dried fruits, nuts, marzipan. The shape and the white coating are meant to represent the baby Jesus wrapped in swaddling clothes. Every slice a reminder of the Nativity. In Sweden, Christmas Eve features a smorgasbord called julbord. Table after table of dishes. Herring prepared 7 different ways. Meatballs, ham, salmon, cheeses, breads. Families arrive hungry, pace themselves, return for multiple rounds. A marathon of eating, celebrating abundance after the lean days of winter. The Christmas cracker was invented in London around 1847. A confectioner named Tom Smith was inspired by French bonbons wrapped in tissue paper. He wanted to create something more exciting. He added a small strip of chemically treated paper. When pulled, it would snap, creating a small bang. Inside, a paper crown, a joke, a small gift. 3 elements that make Christmas dinner more festive. Fruitcake has become a joke in modern times. Dense, long-lasting, often re-gifted. The subject of countless comedy routines. But traditional fruitcake, made with quality ingredients, soaked in spirits, aged properly, can be delicious, rich, complex. A slice of history. The oldest known fruitcake was baked in 1878. It's been preserved, passed down through a family. Hard as a rock, but still intact. Some traditions last forever. You're doing well. Your breathing is slower now. Deeper. That's perfect. Silent Night was composed in Austria in 1818. Father Joseph Mohr wrote the lyrics. Franz Xaver Gruber composed the melody on Christmas Eve in a small church in Oberndorf. The church organ had broken, so they performed it with guitar accompaniment. Simple, gentle, perfect. It's been translated into over 300 languages, sung by more people than any other Christmas carol. Stille Nacht, Heilige Nacht. Jingle Bells wasn't originally a Christmas song. James Lord Pierpont wrote it in 1857. It was called One Horse Open Sleigh, a song about winter fun. Sleigh racing, not about Christmas at all, but it became associated with the season, its cheerful melody, its winter imagery. Now, it's one of the most recognized Christmas songs worldwide. Sometimes, association matters more than intention. White Christmas by Irving Berlin is the best-selling single of all time. Recorded by Bing Crosby in 1942, during World War II, when soldiers were far from home, dreaming of the Christmases they remembered. The song captured that longing, that nostalgia. Crosby's warm voice painting a picture of home. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. O Holy Night was composed in France in 1847. The original lyrics were by Placide Cappeau, a wine merchant and poet. The music by Adolphe Adam, a composer. It was one of the first pieces of music to be broadcast on radio on Christmas Eve, 1906. Reginald Fessenden played the song on his violin. His transmission reached ships at sea. Imagine sailors hearing music through the static on Christmas Eve. Far from home, the 12 days of Christmas is full of hidden symbolism. Some believe it was a catechism song, used during times when Catholics were persecuted. Each gift representing a religious teaching: a partridge in a pear tree, Christ; 2 turtle doves, the Old and New Testaments; 3 French hens, faith, hope, and charity. Whether true or not, it's an interesting interpretation. Layers of meaning hidden in a simple song. Carol of the Bells is based on a Ukrainian folk chant. The original is called Shedrik, a song about a swallow returning home, heralding spring, prosperity. In 1916, composer Mykola Leontovich arranged it for choir. It was later adapted with Christmas lyrics, but that haunting melody, those repeating notes, come from Ukraine, a small country's song becoming a global Christmas anthem. Good King Wenceslas tells the story of a real person, Wenceslaus I, Duke of Bohemia in the 10th century, known for his piety, his charity, his commitment to his people. The carol, written in 1853 by John Mason Neale, tells of the king venturing out on St. Stephen's Day, bringing food to a poor peasant, his servant struggling in the cold. Find strength by following in the king's footsteps, a song about compassion, leadership, helping others through harsh conditions. Little Drummer Boy was originally called Carol of the Drum, written by Catherine Kennicott Davis in 1941. It tells of a poor boy with no gift to bring the newborn king, so he plays his drum, the only thing he has. I played my best for him, pa-rum pum pum pum. A reminder that the gift of our presence, our effort, our best is enough. Auld Lang Syne isn't technically a Christmas song, but it's sung at New Year's Eve, right after Christmas, so it's become part of the season. The lyrics are by Robert Burns, the Scottish poet. The title means times long past. The song is about remembering old friends, honouring connections, should old acquaintance be forgot. Christmas music increases significantly in popularity each year. Radio stations switch to all Christmas formats. Streaming playlists fill with familiar songs. Stores play the same carols on repeat. Some people love it, others find it overwhelming, but there's no denying Christmas music creates atmosphere, transforms ordinary spaces into something festive. The same songs, year after year, connecting us to previous Christmases, to memories. If your eyes are closed, good. Let the stories continue washing over you. The tradition of caroling has declined in many places, but in others, it remains strong. Groups of singers, bundled in warm clothes, walking from house to house, offering songs in exchange for warmth, cocoa, cookies. There's something magical about voices, carrying through cold air, creating community, sharing joy, a reminder that music connects us. In Norway, people hide their brooms on Christmas Eve, an old superstition. They believed that witches and evil spirits emerged on Christmas Eve, looking for brooms to ride, so families would hide every broom in the house, ensuring no supernatural creatures could steal them. A quirky tradition, still observed by some. In Venezuela, people roller skate to Christmas Mass. In Caracas, entire streets are closed to traffic on Christmas morning, so people can skate to church. Children tie strings to their toes, hang them out the window. Their skating friends tug on the strings as they pass. A wake-up call, a unique tradition, blending faith and fun. In Japan, Christmas is more romantic than familial. It's not a national holiday. Most people work on December 25th, but Christmas Eve has become a date night. Couples exchange gifts, share romantic dinners, walk through illuminated streets. It's similar to Valentine's Day. And KFC, as mentioned earlier, has become the traditional Christmas meal. People order weeks in advance. Cultural adaptation creates something entirely new. In the Philippines, Christmas season begins in September, the Burr months. September, October, November, December. 4 months of celebration. The Philippines has one of the longest Christmas seasons in the world. Decorations appear early, music plays for months. A quarter of the year devoted to anticipation and joy. In Iceland, Christmas is celebrated with 13 Yule lads. They're mischievous characters, each with their own personality. Names like Spoonlicker, Door Slammer, and Sausage Swiper. They visit children, one per night, for the 13 nights before Christmas. Good children receive gifts, naughty ones get a potato. 13 days of uncertainty and excitement. In Ethiopia, Christmas is celebrated on January 7th. They follow the old Julian calendar, so their date differs from Western Christmas. The celebration, called Ghana, involves a special church service lasting 3 hours. People wear traditional white robes, play a game similar to hockey, also called Ghana. The same holiday, in a different time, a different way. In Greece, some people believe Kalikansari emerge at Christmas. These are mischievous goblin-like creatures. They supposedly live underground, trying to cut down the world tree. But during the 12 days of Christmas, they abandon this task, come to the surface, play tricks on humans. To ward them off, people leave offerings, burn incense, keep fires lit, traditions, protecting against imagined threats. In Australia, Christmas falls during summer. Beach barbecues replace cozy fires. Santa arrives in board shorts. People eat cold seafood instead of hot roasts. Carols by candlelight is held outdoors, under warm skies, stars shining in the southern hemisphere. The same holiday, transformed by climate, adapted, yet still Christmas. In Mexico, Las Posadas reenact Mary and Joseph's search for shelter. For 9 nights before Christmas, communities hold processions. People dress as Mary and Joseph, go door to door, asking for lodging. At each house, they're turned away until they reach the designated house, where they're welcomed with celebration, food, music, a tradition. That makes the nativity story immediate, real, experienced. You're still here. Your body's relaxed now, sinking deeper into rest. Holly and ivy have been winter decorations for millennia. The Druids believed holly remained green to shelter woodland spirits during winter. Romans sent holly as gifts during Saturnalia. Christians adopted these plants, gave them new meanings. Holly's red berries, representing Christ's blood, the pointed leaves, his crown of thorns. Ivy, symbolizing fidelity, clinging to walls, enduring through seasons. Ancient plants, with evolving meanings. Mistletoe has its own fascinating history. The Druids considered it sacred, especially when found on oak trees. They believed it had healing properties, protection against evil. Norse mythology tells of Baldur, killed by an arrow made of mistletoe. His mother Frigg decreed it should bring love, not death. Now we kiss beneath it, a tradition, transforming something deadly into something romantic. Poinsettias are native to Mexico. The Aztecs called them Cuetlaxochitl, used them for dye, for medicine. They bloomed in winter, bringing color to the season. In the 17th century, Franciscan friars in Mexico began using them in Christmas processions. The shape resembled the Star of Bethlehem. The red color symbolized Christ's sacrifice. Joel Roberts Poinsett, the first US ambassador to Mexico, brought them to America in the 1820s. Now, they're synonymous with Christmas. Advent calendars originated in Germany in the 19th century. Lutheran families would mark the days until Christmas. Some drew chalk lines on doors, others lit candles, one each day. The first printed Advent calendar appeared around 1902. It had little pictures. Later versions had doors to open, revealing images, Bible verses. Eventually, chocolate. 24 days of anticipation. Each door bringing Christmas closer. Wreaths are circular for a reason. The circle represents eternity. No beginning, no end. God's endless love. Evergreen branches symbolize eternal life. In ancient Rome, wreaths signified victory, achievement. The Advent wreath, with 4 candles, marks the 4 weeks before Christmas. 1 candle lit each Sunday. Light gradually increasing. Nativity scenes vary greatly across cultures. In Latin America, they're elaborate, include entire villages, markets, animals, dozens of figures. In Italy, the Presepio is a point of pride. Families compete to create the most beautiful display. Some use antique figures passed down through generations. In America, many are simple, just the Holy Family, the animals, the wise men. Same story, countless interpretations. Bells have been associated with Christmas for centuries. Church bells call people to worship, announce Christmas Day. Their ringing cuts through the cold air, declaring something important has happened. In literature, bells often symbolize joy, celebration. Think of the bells in Carol of the Bells, or Dickens' description in A Christmas Carol. Even sleigh bells, jingling merrily, sound becoming part of Christmas itself. Candles represent Christ as the light of the world. Before electric lights, candles were essential. They illuminated churches, windows, Christmas trees. Dangerous, yes, but beautiful. Each flame flickering, individual. yet together, creating brilliance. Some traditions continue: candlelight services on Christmas Eve, candles in windows, welcoming the stranger, the Christ child, light in darkness. A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens was written in just 6 weeks. Published in 1843, Dickens was under financial pressure, needed a success, so he wrote quickly, intensely. The story of Ebenezer Scrooge transformed how people thought about Christmas. It emphasized charity, compassion, family, redemption. Before this book, Christmas was declining in England. After, it experienced a revival, one story, changing culture. The poem, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," was published anonymously. For years, no one knew who wrote it. Clement Clarke Moore finally claimed authorship, though some scholars debate whether he actually wrote it. Regardless, it defined Santa Claus for generations, created the imagery we know: the jolly figure, the sleigh, the reindeer, the magic. A few verses shaping imagination. How the Grinch Stole Christmas was Dr. Seuss's response to commercialization, published in 1957. Theodore Geisel, Dr. Seuss, was frustrated with the materialism of the holiday season, so he created the Grinch, a creature who hated Christmas, who tried to steal it, but learned that Christmas doesn't come from a store. It means a little bit more. A children's book with a profound message. The Nutcracker, ballet, premiered in Russia in 1892, composed by Tchaikovsky, based on a story by E.T.A. Hoffmann. It tells of Clara, a Christmas Eve party, a magical nutcracker that comes to life. Initially, it received mixed reviews, but over time, it became a Christmas tradition. Performed thousands of times each December, the music is instantly recognizable. Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy, Waltz of the Flowers. Beauty in movement and sound. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was created as a marketing tool. Robert L. May worked for Montgomery Ward. In 1939, they asked him to create a Christmas story for a promotional giveaway. May, who had been teased as a child, created Rudolph, an outcast, different, but ultimately valuable. The story resonated, became a book, then a song by Johnny Marks, then a television special in 1964. Now, Rudolph is as famous as Santa himself. It's a Wonderful Life was a box office disappointment initially. Released in 1946, directed by Frank Capra, it lost money, received lukewarm reviews, but in the 1980s, its copyright lapsed. Television stations could air it freely. So they did, repeatedly. A new generation discovered it, fell in love with George Bailey's story, the message that every life matters, has impact. Now, it's considered one of the greatest Christmas films ever made. A Charlie Brown Christmas. Almost didn't get made. Network executives thought it was too slow, too quiet, too religious. They wanted to cancel it, but creator Charles M. Schulz insisted. The special aired in 1965. It became an instant classic. The jazz soundtrack by Vince Guaraldi, Charlie Brown's Sad Little Tree, Linus reciting the nativity story from Luke, simple but profound, gentle but meaningful. Home Alone became a cultural phenomenon in 1990, a story about a boy forgotten during Christmas who defends his home from burglars. With creativity, courage, humor, it resonated, perhaps because Christmas is about family, and the film explores what happens when family is absent. The ending, when Kevin's mother finally comes home, makes people cry every time. because Christmas is about coming home. You're almost at the end now. Nearly 100 facts. Your breathing is deep, steady, peaceful. The word Noel comes from the French les bonnes nouvelles, the good news, the gospel, the announcement of Christ's birth. It evolved into Noel, used in carols, on decorations, a single word, capturing the essence of the holiday. Good news in the darkness, hope when needed most. Christmas truce of 1914 is one of history's most remarkable moments. During World War I, on Christmas Eve, German and British soldiers heard each other singing carols across no man's land. They emerged from trenches, met in the middle, exchanged gifts, cigarettes, chocolate, stories. They played football together, buried their dead with dignity. For one day, the war stopped. Humanity prevailed over conflict. The next day, they returned to fighting. But that moment proved something important, that even in darkness, Christmas can create light. Christmas is celebrated by people who aren't Christian. Many celebrate it culturally as a time for family, generosity, joy, light in winter. The themes transcend religion, kindness, hope, love, giving to others. These are universal values. Christmas has become bigger than its origins, a season of peace that belongs to everyone who embraces its spirit. The true meaning of Christmas is different for everyone. For some, it's religious, the birth of their Savior, a holy celebration. For others, it's about family, coming together, setting differences aside, sharing meals, creating memories. For many, it's about generosity, giving to those who have less, remembering the vulnerable, spreading kindness. For children, it's magic, wonder, belief in something extraordinary. For adults looking back, it's nostalgia, the Christmases of childhood, parents who are gone, traditions that have faded. Whatever Christmas means to you, it's valid, meaningful, worth celebrating. Because at its heart, Christmas is about hope, about believing that despite everything difficult in the world, there is still light, still goodness, still reasons to gather together and celebrate life, and that is worth preserving. And there you have it, 100 facts about the Northern Lights, about the aurora borealis, from ancient myths to modern science, from the physics of particles to the poetry of light. I hope these stories have carried you gently towards sleep, that your mind is calm, your body relaxed. If you're still awake, that's perfectly fine. Sometimes the mind needs time, and that's okay. Picture yourself one more time, standing in the Arctic night, snow beneath your feet, stars above, and there, on the horizon, a faint glow begins, green light, spreading, growing, rising into arcs, then curtains, dancing, swaying. You watch, breath forming clouds in the cold air, and you feel connected to earth, to sky, to the cosmos itself. The lights move, shift, change colors, purple edges, red crowns, the whole sky alive with silent beauty. And you stand there, small but present, witnessing, grateful. Let that image stay with you as you drift, as you fall into sleep. The Northern Lights, eternal dance of particles and magnetic fields and glowing gases, continue their performance. And somewhere, right now, they're dancing over Norway, over Alaska, over the frozen Arctic Ocean, dancing for no one, dancing for everyone, dancing because the universe is beautiful. Let your breathing slow. Let your muscles release their tension. Let sleep come, gentle as auroral light. The cosmos is vast, but tonight, you've traveled through a small part of it. 100 facts 100 moments of wonder. May your dreams be filled with dancing lights, with peaceful skies, with the quiet